Yo, what's cracking, guys? Faison here, and today we're playing Eldlich against DRYTRON. A few of you have been asking me, how do you beat DRYTRON with Eldlich? It's definitely not easy, especially when you're forced to go second, but there's a few things to keep in mind. First of all, in a 40 card list, I'm playing 3 Lava Golem and 2 Solemn Strike at the moment. That means out of 40 cards, I have a 50% chance of seeing one card that single-handedly breaks the DRYTRON board. Additionally, you're only ever really going to have to go second against DRYTRON about 50% of the time just because of the coin flip. That means that there's only going to be 25% of games where you are forced to go second, and on top of that, don't have a 1 card out. Even in those situations, there are ways to break the DRYTRON board, though they might be hard. You are able to chain cards effectively to blow a bunch of the ultimateness negates, and then make sure your last chain link is something like a skill drain, or there can be only one, just something that's going to force most of his board to become useless. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and let him full combo. I think the biggest challenge of playing Eldlich against DRYTRON, honestly, is trying not to fall asleep as they play for 50 years, just for me to set 5 cards and pass my turn and to have them do it all over again. But yeah, because we don't have any hand traps, we're going to go ahead and just let him keep going. And one thing that I made a pretty important note on when he was comboing is that he added the Natasha. Natasha is a super important card in this matchup because it plays super well under There Can Be Only One and lets him steal my Lord and use it to link climb. So that is one thing that I want to make sure doesn't start cycling. Because of the way rituals work, in cases anyone didn't know, if Natasha is in Grave, he cannot use the graveyard effect of Natasha to special summon itself unless it has been properly summoned once by the effect of a ritual spell. So as long as we don't let that ritual spell get to Natasha, I'm not super worried. Also, by the end of his combo, and after he's resolved his second Eva, he's going to have all 3 Herald of Orange Lights in hand, which is pretty standard, but it's just something to keep note of that you're going to want to wait until he's got 3 in grave before you start going super aggressive and committing to the board. And it looks like he's done with his turn. We know he's going to shotgun that Beatrice as soon as he starts to get his second Eva, which is totally fine. We expected as much. And there's actually only 2 forms of interaction with the Ultimateness and the IP Masquerena. We're going to go ahead and just tribute those right away with the Lava Golem. If, for example, you did not have Lava Golem but you had Solemn Strike, you would just pick 5 trap cards to set, including the Solemn Strike, and that would work the same way, and then you would just kind of keep pace with the with the Floodgates. And in this situation, I should have popped the There Can Be Only One much quicker. I just made a mistake, but luckily he only hit the Conquistador. And then we use the There Can Be Only One, which is going to force one of the fairies off the board. And it makes his situation a lot more precarious because he's only allowed his 1 machine and his 1 fairy, both of which are on board. And because DRYTRON is all machines and fairies, that's just not going to allow him to continue extending. Even still, I decided to use the punishment pretty early, just so his Meteonis ritual spell doesn't resolve, and then we use the Entis just to burn the orange light effect. And at this point, he decided to pitch both orange lights for that. It's not the dumbest thing on his part, because he knows he's playing against Eldlich, he doesn't expect it to be useful, but I think it would have been much more beneficial to pitch something else just so I can't cycle Eldlich from grave, because now we only have to burn 1 more negate. I decide to block the attack with the Hawk Arrow there, because I'm going to banish the Conquistador during that turn to get to a Sanguine, and then I can banish the Hawk Arrow this coming turn for another Sanguine. I don't want his board to get too big and allow him to link climb into something ridiculous like an access code or anything like that. So I decide to get rid of his Beatrice, even though it's going to let him go back into more fairies. And we're going to go ahead and get to that Scarlet Sanguine again. And so, as you can see, the Eldlich traps are going to start cycling. The Eldlich is already in grave, so we're going to go ahead and try to revive him back. The Diviner, I decided to strike this. This was probably a little bit of a misplay. I don't think he is playing the second Entis that would get rid of my There Can Be Only One, but even if he is, I should have waited to see what he would send. So he's going to get his Ritual spell back, and at this point, I'm a little concerned about him going into Natasha. So as he activates that Ritual spell, I'm gonna go ahead and shotgun my Vanity's Emptiness. The nice thing about Vanities is that you can get rid of it on your own terms in Eldlich, because Eldlich doesn't actually special summon itself from graveyard, it adds itself to hand and then special summons itself from hand. So there's no problem with activating that effect. But we're just trying to keep him off this Meteonis. We don't want him to get into that Natasha and start causing trouble for us. Because life is just a resource in this game, I didn't really see a point to chaining my Sanguine earlier and preventing Lava Golem from getting direct damage. And the DRYTRON Nova is going to go ahead and pop his DRYTRON name since he wasn't able to get it off board. We're going to use Eldlich to get rid of Vanities. He's going to chain Orange Light, and now he is out of monster negates. We're still going to get Eldlich, but this time I decided to grab him from deck. I'm not super worried about him banishing my Lord from graveyard, because the only card that does that in his deck is Called By, if he's even playing it, which I know a lot of people may or may not play. And then we're just trying to get his board weakened. Even though I'm not doing any damage yet, all the damage he's taken so far is his Lava Golem. I'm starting to generate advantage just in terms of like set cards. So he's going to use his DRYTRON Nova, bring out an Alpha, use Meteonis again. So I decided to chain Ice Dragon's Prison, targeting his Mu Beta, because that's the only DRYTRON name that can be targeted by Ice Dragon's Prison. And because I'm going to get rid of that and his Alpha before Meteonis DRYTRON can lower the attack, Meteonis DRYTRON will stay in graveyard, which means one more turn without a ritual. So he's desperately trying to claw for a draw here, but he's just not getting anything super useful. He gets rid of my Lord again, and I'm at 2700 health, but I see game on board now. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of our There Can Be Only One as our turn starts with Eldlich effect in graveyard, just because I want to be able to use my Golden Land trap cards. We summon back Lord buffed up now that we know he doesn't have any orange lights, so I'm not really worried about it getting negated. Conquistador is going to pop one of his monsters. Hakero gets rid of Natasha just in case he's able to stop me from ending the game here, but I'm pretty sure he won't be able to. And then we turn these two into a Pleiades to bounce his last card. And we have 6,000 on board after having him burn for 3,000 over the course of the game just from the Lava Golem. So, as you can see, it's not that Eldlich versus DRYTRON is easy by any means going second, but if you play it effectively, in the 50% of games that you're forced to go second, you should be able to win at least half of them, if not a majority of them. And out of the games that you're forced to go first, in the games that you choose to go first, as long as you're not dealing with a Harpy's Feather Duster or something, you should have a pretty high chance of winning against them. You're playing a deck that runs a bunch of Floodgates, they're playing a deck that doesn't have outs to Floodgates or back row in general. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this was helpful. In the coming days, I'm going to try to get a replay showcasing how to break that board if you don't have the Lava Golem or the Solemn Strike. Because while it is possible, it is very hard and you need a certain very specific set of circumstances. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions about the deck, give me your thoughts on things that you think I should be doing differently, and I'll give you my thoughts on why I think you're wrong. But it's always fun to get other people's ideas. And yeah, let me know how you guys are liking Master Duel. Catch you later. Peace.